Okay. Well, say hello to our friend who's the branch manager, of course, in Augusta and Baxley, Georgia. And so I do not butcher the pronunciation of your name. Share your first and last name and how to pronounce.
Yep. So I'm gonna say in Spanish that we say in English. How about
Good.
that? So
That's beautiful.
Jairo Arguedas, and you guys call me Jairo Arguedas. So
Nice.
almost whatever way you wanna go with it, I'm okay. Used to it already. So,
That's
yes,
beautiful.
sir.
Now, what is your native country?
So I'm from Costa Rica. I was born there in the 80s. Moved to the U.S. 1998 was my first trip. I was here for almost 3 years. Went back home and can get used to back the way we do things back then. And I wanted to come back, right? I always knew that I wanted to come back over here and explore my adulthood here. And when I came back in 2001, then this is it now, right? After I started in the pest control industry back in 2002. So this is my 20-year anniversary. And currently, like you said, I have the opportunity to kind of carry this big weight above my shoulder now, which is keeping the legacy of event services, right?
That's right. And of course, that's the new role that Jairo has. And talk about the leadership lessons that you got from Bo and Dina and Jeff along the way to prepare you for right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, got to take advantage of the opportunities, right? And I was so lucky, I guess, that Jeff, Bo, and Dina gave us that opportunity, and not just me, right? It was we see Shelby, Christy, myself, Bo, moving up, and Dina just moving up, and they are my biggest mentors, right? Jeff, even though it's funny because he even said I was out of the picture back in 2015, 2016, so Bo and Dina, they wants to step up at that point. So I work alongside Bo, and technically a lot of the things that I know and a lot of the things that I'm able to do now and help other technicians is because the way they help me, right? The way that I learn, the way that they teach me, the way that they what Dina say all the time, delegate, right? Just delegate. Learn how to delegate. You want to do things all the time and say, no, let it go. You need to delegate.
A business coach I know read this article, I think it's the Harvard Law Review, and it's an article called Get the Monkey Off Your Back, which is the same idea because they come to you, right? And what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And if you solve it for them all, you won't have much time, right?
Absolutely.
The rest of the day.
Absolutely. It's funny that you mentioned that. We just had a couple of interviews for one or two positions we currently have open here, and one of the guys that we were interviewing, it was saying the same thing. I want to do things my way all the time. And I'm like, do you realize how much work you actually accumulate in yourself? Are you able to do everything? He said, no, I never can finish. I said, well, you have to learn how to delegate. You got to give people the opportunity to learn and do it. And that's going to be beneficial for you one day.
Yeah.
You don't realize it now, but you will see once that start happening how beneficial that's going to be for you and how much you're going to help this person to develop to a different level, right?
And rewinding the tape to when you started in the pest control industry, with not with advanced, you kind of had to learn from, I'm about to say the ground up. The ground up.
Yeah.
Under houses.
Yeah, absolutely. So I always relay back to Bo Thomas and myself. It's almost a similar story. We started pretty much from the bottom, right? We never forget my first job within my first week. I was in a crawl space house just drilling holes to do a liquid termite treatment, right? Neil, this is probably one of the most physical work that you can do in your life. It's a whole day and a half just making trenches, drilling holes around the foundation. And then the next day you have to do a liquid treatment, right? So, and then the next day you have to come back and plug all those holes that you literally make, right? So super, super physical. But then again, thanks to that hard work, it helped you to move up and teach other people how to do it, right? Did that for 2 years, and then after that, I moved up to the pest control route. I ran a route with the previous company for about 5 years, and when Jeff adopted me in 2009, I was pretty much set into an area that it was growing. I mean, this was back in 2009, Grow Town.
Oh, wow, really?
So Grow Town was booming. And I already knew the area, so whenever they hired me, I remember my ex-boss at the time, they said, we already got plans for you. And that's when I took over that route in Grow Town. And within 2 years, some other opportunity came up, and then I moved to do something different at the time. So,
wow. And then what? How did you kind of get promoted along the way? I guess from the technician and running a route, and then into management.
Yep.
Too.
Yep. So it took 3 steps, right, to really become a manager. We had the opportunity. So as the market was changing, the company was growing, right? So we start shifting things a little bit. 1 or 2 supervisors, there were not enough anymore for how many technicians we had, right? So we came out with the idea to have 4 team leaders, right? We call them team captains, right? And I happened to be one of those 4. Right, we did that probably from 2011, 2012 to about 2014. At the time, again, businesses start changing, the market started getting so busy, and now we invented or we tweaked a couple of 2 routes and became, how can I say it, some kind of hybrid position, right? So this guy was going to promote things to do the initial and then pass it on to the regular technician. So we're doing almost like a hybrid, like a sales and service at the same time. Right. We start growing in specific areas. That was me and another guy. And then after that, 2015, 2016, the leadership group grew as well, right? That's when, based on my performance, based on my customer services skills and my experience, again, they gave me the opportunity to become part of that leadership group back in 2015, 2016. And then I was named the director for services, quality, and training at the time, right? There was another guy got promoted to the sales position and marketing. So 2016, and then after that, Jeff started sending us to different classes, different courses. We went out to Ohio at some point. For example, I'll never forget one of our biggest training facilities that we went to, and then in-house, so many different training sessions that we have, right? We have a lot of people coming inside. The great game of business. I know Jeff talked about this as well. That was a huge thing for us, right? You're talking about motivate your employees. That was it for us at the time, right? Everybody became even more engaged with everything. I mean, with the management, with the customers, with the way that we were doing business, right?
And of course, we're with Jairo Arguedas. Did I do right?
Arguedas.
Arguedas?
Arguedas.
Okay, I got it. Like Armageddon, but Arguedas. All right. Jairo, so I'm just noticing, we have a nice background. It's sort of like a montage, a snapshot of things. And I'm noticing you up there with, what bug is that in your hand? Do you remember?
That is, I think it's the Madagascar roach. I think we got
Madagascar.
There. Yep, one of the big, gigantic roaches we have. We used to do the school shows here. It was a couple of us, and even Kate Sanders from Allison.
Yeah.
She was part of this crew over here. We would travel into different schools and put shows together like this. We used to have a big old tarantula we used to carry around, a couple of scorpions, right?
Yeah.
Crickets. You're talking about engagement in the community?
Yeah.
That is true engagement right there, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, and we used to have coloring books and some of the these to pass on to these kids. Good times, without a doubt.
Yeah, and Advanced, of course, is world famous for community engagement. What are some of the events maybe through the years that have just stuck out at you, that have touched your heart about, hey, this is more than just killing bugs?
Yep. Probably one of our biggest event every year was the leukemia lymphoma, the Light the Night was huge supporters. We won first place several times. We always look for this event. We start to fundraise money. I mean, months in advance. We used to do T-shirts. We used to bring everybody in. We used to have a big tent, and it was a very very fun evening, right? I remember probably personally, besides that, one of the things that I got more involved is to help people that didn't have the money to afford the actual pest control services, and they had somewhat of an issue, right? I mean, from bed bugs to infestation with roaches, right? So a couple of times we got really involved with these low-income folks and go and help them. Like they cannot afford a few $100 services, so we were like, you know what? One of our core values, it is the community service. So here we go. This is our time to really help these people. They cannot afford the services, that they can really get sick because they have a huge infestation, right? This is not a bug issue. It's an infestation, right? It was escalated to a different level. And two things happen at a time, right? So number one thing, we have to educate the customer. What is the reason that you're having a problem, right? Is it because somebody brought in this issue, or because you're not a clean person, right? So habits have to change, right? So that was part of what we were doing. We were not just killing bugs. We were actually educating people to help them and others to prevent this problem, right? So, and that was huge for me, and I always look for it. And you never knew exactly when or where this would happen. Sometimes we get phone calls and say, hey, I got so-and-so person that I think they can benefit from a pest control service. How much of a discount can you give them? And the answer was like, let me go inspect it, and probably we can help it without even charging.
Wow. Those are the stories you never hear, or the people in the community maybe never hear, which is so wonderful. So you December 28th, 2009, you started with Advance. So around the holidays, it'll be about 13 years, I guess. Lucky 13. You're in the big chair.
There you go.
You ever feel a little, boy, I wish I had a safety net. I wish Bo or Dina or Jeff were there. Like, any fears at all about just kind of taking the torch and running with it?
Well, yes and no, right? So when Jeff announced a little bit over a year ago the upcoming plans for the company, quite honestly, we all freaked out. Right? I mean, here you are working in this place that have shown how much they care about the community and about the employees. This place that given us a lot of opportunities. Got a little emotional sometimes about this kind of stuff, right? So
yeah,
and all of a sudden Jeff's coming and say, "Hey, this is about to happen." We were all in shock, and I remember Shelby and Christy find out the day before I did, and then when I came in, I was have lunch that day and sit on the table, and Jeff said, I got something to tell you, and he announced it, and lunch was just put aside. I was like, are you serious?
Oh,
like, yes. So obviously, you go through the emotions and everything, but then he started explaining the opportunities that this change was going to bring for me and for everybody else, right? So yes, I was afraid. I was freaked out. We were, if anybody said that they were not, that they probably lied, right? So we just didn't know. I mean, you have your comfort zone. You're moving out of mom and dad at this point. You're about to go to college by yourself, right? So the real good thing that you start finding out after a few months is that the foundation that they built for you, it will going to support anything at that point for the new experience, right? Yes, it is pest control business. We're still doing the same thing, but then again, your family it is stepping aside, and now it's time for you to carry on with the legacy, right? So it is a huge challenge, but when I talked to Bo about this, and I was like, no, I think that I'm ready. I'm ready to happen. And look, I'm going to mess up. That's the reality. And I really want to do things a little wrong, so that way I can learn and I know how to do it right now, right? I don't have my comfort zone five feet apart from my desk and ask him, hey man, what do you think? How should we handle this? Or what is your advice? Now I have to make that decision, right? Mm-hmm. But I think that I have the right help, the right teachers to make what things are happening right now.
Pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Anytime, Neil.